You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
So we've gone over all the lineup changes that Syracuse football is making for its upcoming matchup with Holy Cross on Saturday. What do we make of it? Leave a comment in the comment section below what these lineup changes signal to you. I'm going to give you my thoughts on it right now. Friday night was obviously not the outcome that any Syracuse fan watching or listening, which is most of you, if you are a fan of a different team, I understand the entertainment value. But anyways, it was obviously not the outcome that we wanted for most of us. We want Syracuse to win. They did not. They didn't get the job done. And what this depth chart tells me is that this coaching staff is not afraid to make changes. They are not. We have seen them make adjustments already during this season, during games, and now on depth charts. Right? We can recall moving Fidel Diggs to linebacker against Georgia Tech. Against Stanford, they made all those changes with Derek McDonald going to middle linebacker, Justin Barron going to weak side linebacker. You get the idea. They are not afraid to make changes with their lineup, with their personnel, even their scheme during games. They are not afraid whatsoever. And sometimes you can look at lineup changes and say, is a team panicking? Are they doing too much? Right? I think it's fair to wonder that sometimes, but in this case, I don't. I don't think this staff is panicking at all. I think they're making the right decision for two reasons. The first of which is that the moves actually align with what they did and what worked against Stanford. Not what didn't work against Stanford, what did work against Stanford, the adjustments they did make. The Orange didn't come ready to play in this game against Stanford, but through the middle portion and then towards the end, the defense stiffened. It wasn't until the last drive of the game where the Stanford offense woke up. We don't need to dive too much into the ending of that game again, because honestly, it frustrates me like crazy that it still happened. I am glad that Fran Brown in his press conference did take accountability for it, right? That is DART. That is what the A stands for, accountability. He took accountability for that. But overall, the moves, they align with what they did and what worked against Stanford. So that's number one, why I don't think the staff is panicking with all their moves they're making. Okay, number two. This is where we all got to be a little bit honest. Okay? They're playing Holy Cross. This is an FCS school. All right? You're not guaranteed to win, right? You still got to show up. You still got to play. But it's one of those games where you're looking for more than just your starters playing. You want to get some of your reserves in the game too, because you're hoping to absolutely annihilate this team. Do what you are supposed to do. This isn't like Stanford, who is a perceived bottom feeder in the ACC. That's still a Power 4 conference, the ACC. Okay, that's still a conference opponent, and we learned it the hard way. Holy Cross is FCS. Syracuse should have absolutely no trouble with this one. So this is honestly the game where you can experiment. You can make changes to your lineup and see what you like, see what you don't like, right? This is the game to do it, to test some things out. Play some true freshmen you won't normally play. Play some backups. You get the point, right? Just for some more context for you all. Dino Babers, the head coach of Syracuse football from 2016 to last year. He went 41-55 overall with Syracuse. Obviously not a good record at all. 41-55 in 8 years. Even then, he never came close to losing to an FCS school. Dino Babers was 7-0 against FCS competition. That's a good start. And an average margin of victory of nearly 46 points. So on average, if you do the math, they are winning by a combined 6 or 7 touchdowns on average against FCS competition. I get it. That is the past. and this is a new coaching staff. This is a different roster than in years past. But come on. They're playing Holy Cross. They should win this game by 6 or 7 touchdowns like they have been doing in the past. They should easily walk away with a win in this game. So, with that being said, the overall thoughts are that no, the coaching staff is not panicking with all of these moves. They are doing what went well against Holy Cross. They are sticking with those lineup changes. And on top of that, they understand that this is the game, hopefully, to try some new things out. It's the game to show new personnel. See what you got. I would love to see, because Emmanuel Ross actually is listed on the depth chart. I didn't really talk about it with the receiver shakeup because it wasn't too much of a shakeup. He did not play in the Stanford game due to injury. Hopefully he's good to go for Saturday, but he's one of those players that I would love to see on the field against Holy Cross. I would love to see him catch a few balls, play the second half. Right? I mean, I guess I'm teasing more of the podcasts coming up later in the week, but also Michael Johnson Jr., the backup quarterback for Syracuse football. How is he going to look? Maybe this is the game that we do see him play. Hopefully Kyle McCord doesn't have to play all 60 minutes. That would be a problem. So the point being is that this is the game to see what you got and make some changes to your depth chart and see what works. If it doesn't work, it's not going to hurt you because you're still going to probably win anyway. So let's just see what happens. I'm in favor of what the coaching staff is doing with this lineup for this game. Once again, Syracuse is facing Holy Cross this Saturday at noon.